And while we are majority Chinese, we don't want to be perceived as a Chinese nation. We are definitely not a Chinese nation. And we have to be sensitive to our neighborhood, our surrounding countries. And it is for this reason Mr. Lee Kuan Yew decided in the early years not to establish diplomatic relations with China until all the ASEAN countries, the first 5 countries, have done so.
In 1979, China signed a trade agreement with Singapore, and trade representative offices were established soon after. It was only in October 1990 that diplomatic relations with China were formally established.
China saw Singapore's usefulness in the sense that we were able to make things work. If we are a failure, we are a basket case. What is there to learn?
We are friends with China. We would like to work with them. And yet at the same time, we must operate always on the basis of what serves Singapore's interests best.
In the last 27 years since the formalization of diplomatic ties, Singapore and China have had many collaborations on several fronts. The Suzhou Industrial Project, or SIP, stands as one of the testaments of the relationship.
Even at that very early stage, it was unprecedented in terms of its depth, in the sense that we're going into the philosophy of why policies were made in a certain way, and yet at the same time going down to the nitty-gritty operational details. The Suzhou Industrial Park project became a bilateral cooperation of an unprecedented nature. I think in Chinese they call it 绝无仅有. It's never happened before, and it's unlikely to happen again.
By the time we reached the Chongqing Connectivity Initiative, it wasn't a case of they saw something that they liked and we were just trying to replicate something. In fact, in this project, both sides were trying to develop new ideas, new concepts to bring the cooperation to a next level. We want China to do well because we believe that China, if they do well, it benefits not just the Chinese people, it benefits the region, it benefits the rest of the world. Our stand has always been to encourage China to be part of the global system so that they can make a constructive and positive contribution. Otherwise, China will be left out and the world will look quite a different place with one of the biggest, if not the biggest economy being left out, creating perhaps another set of rules, and that will not be good for China, not be good for the world.
Yes, I think Singapore is walking a very fine line of being best friends of China and Southeast Asia, but also best friends of the United States. It's had a long-standing security relationship with the United States. On the other hand, its relations with China are also very strong. And I think it understands China better than some of the other Southeast Asian countries.
Both China and America are looking to expand their mutual circles of friends. And if you look at states with deep understanding of both America and China, Singapore appears on that radar screen. So the point I'm trying to make here is that it's not a zero-sum game. In fact, the more that China and the United States engage with each other, the more that trade and people and education, and even in the future, the security interests engage with each other. We have a role, we are relevant.